Are you ready? What?
Hey,
Weren't we just doing this?
yeah, Sagamore a couple days ago, right?
Just finally thought out.
Yeah, and it's just in time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we go from one distillery to another, and I'm equally excited.
opposite sides of the country,
That's true.
but still cool nonetheless. So, welcome Tuesday night Glam and Drams.
Guys, like it, share it out, bring it in because we've got a heck of a guest, and we're super excited.
Yeah, we're really excited. Look, BT already in the house. What's up?
What's up,
Brian?
BT?
So he had a big weekend too. A lot of rye this weekend, which is this is going to segue perfectly because we were at Sagamore this weekend.
Yes,
we got to do Payne's Proof at the same time. The rye revival
in Baltimore
was going on. All kinds of distilleries coming out to Baltimore.
Pictures.
Looked like a hell of a good time.
I think we got to go next year.
Yeah, next year I think we're definitely going to be there. We tried this year, the schedule didn't work out, but BT was there. We're going to have we'll be out and about there next year. But of course, preserving that beautiful Maryland rye history.
Yeah,
so that was a lot of fun. But tonight we're going to be talking some rye too, and maybe
some
even
other things.
Some sweet potatoes. What do you think about that?
Well, Thanksgiving is next week, and I do like my candied sweet potatoes.
Damn right you do.
So I'm going to pull this out and just shock everybody with what this is on Thanksgiving.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be great. We'll get into that, guys. So we have David Souza from Corbin Cash on tonight, and we'll bring him up in a second. We'll be sipping through everything you've seen from us, from the bourbon to the sweet potato liqueur to their Merced Rye to the Lost Lantern barrel proof pick to their barrel proof 1970 Merced Rye. All of it.
All they're very good too.
And you can win all of that plus a little bottle of their Merced Rye that I have here by just super chatting us. Anybody who super chats will go in for the drawing for that and everything we're trying tonight.
Yeah, so we're super excited, but we appreciate joining us all the way from the West Coast. The founder, master distiller, the everything about Corbin Cash. We want to welcome to 21090.
Oh man.
David Souza, what's going on, my
All
friend?
right,
How are you?
Guys, how you doing? Great to be on. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure, man. Thank you for joining us tonight. We were excited when we found out you were coming on. Corbin Cash has one of those distilleries now where it's one of the hot names in the business. People are excited to get their hands on your products. Yeah, I mean, and for the world who doesn't know about Corbin Cash yet, before we dive into all our questions and all our tastings, we'll throw a spotlight on you, David, just to make you uncomfortable for a second. But go ahead and give us your speech. Introduce the world to David Souza and Corbin Cash.
Yeah, I'm David Souza, fourth generation sweet potato rye farmer from Central California, right in the middle, Atwater, super sandy, hot area, perfect for raising sweet potatoes, and our Merced Rye, which is really drought tolerant. I've been distilling now 16 years.
Oh my gosh.
Feels like I just started yesterday, but love every minute of it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you really did cut your teeth in the spirits business around sweet potatoes first, right? Like that was kind of like where your head was initially. You were in Vegas before you went out to California, correct?
Yeah, well, I grew up in California, so I was born and raised farming. Vegas was not like my home; it was my investment. So,
is it really anyone's home? I don't think anyone is actually from Vegas. You right?
I think maybe more now, but it's very transient. I think people go there, like all of us. We want to make money, so you go out to Vegas. But I was in the. I had invested in some restaurants, and I had a promotion company, which. After 6 years, kind of like realizing I'm not going to stay in Vegas full time. I wanted to marry my two worlds together, and distilling kind of seemed like was a way to do it. I was looking to diversify the family farm. Selling produce is tough business, and trying to make another, a more sustainable product that doesn't necessarily spoil like fresh produce. And we had a lot of sweet potatoes that were just going for cow feed. We were selling 1,000-pound bins for $5.
Oh my gosh!
Like, there's got to be something better we can do with this. So
yeah,
I bought a book off the internet, made a still, started distilling in my garage. Took about 2 years to come up, year and a half to come up with the recipe, another year and a half to get legalized, build a distillery, and so forth. So that idea all started like in 2007, and it's been a climb ever since.
I gotta say, I'm impressed that you built your own still too. By the way, that takes some courage.
And it's and I'll tell you, it wasn't nothing fancy. It was basically a beer keg with some copper pipe and a little condensing unit. But I was distilling the Merced rye and the sweet potatoes at the same time. But obviously, we knew the whiskey was going to have to age. But the idea was sweet potato vodka, turn and burn, right? Everybody wants to get in the vodka business, not realizing actually how tough that business is.
Well, I think that's what, still one of our other favorite distilleries, Still Austin. They didn't source. They cut their teeth for 2 years doing spirits, and then at 2 years released their whiskey. Yeah. Now they're in a climate that allows them to do that a little bit easier than I guess you would, David. When was that transition over from the spirits to, okay, my first bottle of Merced rye went out?
So the rye launched, finished the distillery in 2009.
Okay.
We launched the rye in 2014.
Okay.
So it was almost 5 years in. Our first release was like a 4-year. That was our and then now we don't do anything less than 5 now, but we didn't have a lot of barrels of it. So it was like my original still was which we still just basically do vodka on. It was so small that it's like we were doing vodka, doing whiskey, and but I really wasn't sure. Back then, rye whiskey hadn't had the insurgence that it has today, and I still really wasn't 100% positive people were going to come back to loving rye whiskey. And once I tasted Whistle Pig, and I was like, okay, this is damn good. I think that's gonna start the rye movement, and which I think it did, right?
They were one of the first ones to be 100% rye. Yeah. So that was which caught on mainstream. We have one out here, Baltimore Spirits, that does an epic rye, which is local grain, 100%, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But it can be tough. 100% rye can be tough.
Different palate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not for everybody. It is for us.
And it's and that's why that barley is usually there just to kind of round it off and soften it up just a little bit, take away some of that real grainy kind of notes you can get. But when it's done right, it's beautiful. And that's what I think is wonderful about rye whiskey is if it's done well, it doesn't have to age quite as long as bourbon, and it can be fantastic. It can be really good. And so it's a great kind of plus the Merced rye is very unique really to California, and your particular to steal a wine word, terroir, like it grows well out there.
And it looks a lot different than I think if you were to look at a Midwestern rye or Canadian rye. Like, those ryes typically, they might see 3.5, 4 feet tall. Our rye is they're a little more bushy than our rye. Our rye actually is 6.5 feet tall, and it's real spindly with a real tiny seed. So it's not a real big producer, which is a little frustrating at times when you're, but but the flavor profile is great. I mean, we're starting to see some differences now that have been in it long enough, and we're getting some, 8, 9, 10-year-old whiskeys with my farming records, and we're Todd and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. We're starting to see these different nuances, not just from the area in the rick house, but from the actual soil itself. So, which has been really interesting. A little bit frustrating yet interesting at the same time.
Is it like a wine? I mean, it's the same issue of like wines and terroir and stuff like that. I mean, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So basically, it is a little bit. But what's funny with the Merced rye, it's not as much terroir because we do have a little bit of differences.
Okay.
notice them. But what happened is this year we launched we pulled down some 2016 barrels. And so the difference pre 2016, so starting in 2009 all the way to 2015, our average rainfall is like 10 to 12 inches. So it's not really much. In 2016, we had close to 19 and a half inches. So
right,
quite a bit more rainfall. And the field that we picked to pull the rye from for the whiskey was a little bit heavier soil type. So all that water with that heavier terroir, it changed the whiskey a little bit. We got a little more of that raw grain flavor.
Interesting.
Slightly little bit of like almost a little bit of a grass note to it. So it's a little bit softer, less spicy. And I tell people at the distillery, it's not my favorite. But a lot of people that typically aren't rye fans have been buying bottles of it. So I was telling Bobby the other day, it sparked us to do a bottled and bond.
Yep.
So we can explain that to people. And so you can have a choice of like, dude, I like this.
Right.
And I'm not such a fan of this one. So
that's it's years, right? You have to do it each year. It's one distilling season, correct?
Well, it's a season. So it's actually only 6 months.
6 months. Wow.
Yeah. So it'll break it down into those 6 month seasons.
Okay.
And we'll be able to, and we're going to put down to the field number and the soil type. And
that's awesome.
So people can compare the differences.
Yeah, I think that's really cool because, again, not to keep going back to wine, but people on a very broad scale think, oh, it's a Cabernet Sauvignon. Oh, it's a Merlot grape. Oh, but everything is so derivative of the weather. If it's too ripe, if it's too wet that year, or don't get enough rain, or it's a little too cold and it frosts too early. Like there's so many things to go into making each vintage, which would be the year, so unique. We think about that in terms of wine, but we don't always think about that in terms of whiskey, which I think is really cool because this is almost like a chance to showcase a whiskey like a wine. Like we're at the mercy of what the ground
but no
produces.
One's doing that.
And so I think it's really neat that you're doing that because it's showing people that no matter what you're doing, you're at the mercy of Mother Nature, and that's going to dictate really just how good the final product can be at times, which I think is really cool.
Well, and I, to other distilleries that don't have farms, it's like it would be almost impossible for them to do that because they're getting their grain and they're not going to know exactly where that grain came from or what field it came off of. So, but it'll open up, I think it opens up the eyes for people to understand why, your favorite whiskey might all of a sudden taste a little different. And not just in the barrel, like we see just in the single barrels how different it tastes.
Right.
But the actual grain itself can be different. And
David, how will that information help you as you're a farm to glass operation here? Does that help you, or is it more difficult to figure out, okay, this is going to be something that I think is going to be great, or, oh, I need to do this? Help me understand how that information, as you historically go through and know what the climate's going to do to the grain, how that affects the flavor of the whiskey. I mean, is that something you just have to trial and error, or is it you dial it in?
Now so up until this year, it's even like I have said in the past, like growing up in Central California, California's known for the wine, right?
Right.
But here in the Valley, we're so hot.
Mm-hmm.
We have more aging temperatures like Texas, other than we don't have the high humidity. But when people used to talk about Cabernet wine and how wonderful it was, our Cabernet wine in the Central Valley where I grew up is not very good because it's too hot.
Too hot.
So, I would have never believed that this would happen with whiskey if you'd asked me this when I first started.
Right.
I'm like, no, why is it going to be different? We haven't seen anything to that nature. And to be honest, up until this year, this was the first year I pulled these barrels out. And I'm like, okay, at first I was a little frustrated because I'm like, okay, how am I going to blend this out? We're such a small distillery. It's not like I have, 10,000 barrels and I'm just going to blend this out. So we had to, we released a small batch of it. I wanted to, see what people's take was on it. And there was mixed feedback. There was like, it's good until I compare it to the 1917, right? And they're like, when you compared the Merced Rye 1917, they taste exactly the same, just one was more, a little more heat, obviously, and just a little more richness to it because it's such a high proof.
Yeah.
Now we do it in the tasting room and I compare people side by side. I'm like, now I want you to taste it. And they're like, I love this one. Now I tried this one. I love this one more. They're like two different whiskeys now.
Yeah. Wow.
This is that one particular batch.
Yeah, right. Right.
But so I was frustrated at first, but then I started thinking about, okay, the bottled in bond will allow us to tell that story and to honestly get really geeky with it and really get down to the nitty gritty with it. So I'm actually excited about doing it. So.
Well, we're excited to try that. Now, we're talking all this about being at the mercy of the weather and everything like that. Let's shift a little bit now to a sweet potato, shall we? Because I got to tell you this. Todd said we got a bottle of the sweet potato liqueur here, and you have a whiskey as well, correct?
We have a blended whiskey. Yeah,
I can't wait. When I come out to Cali, we're gonna sip on that one.
What do you guys think? Should Andy go out to California and maybe do some hunting for single barrels? I think that's a great idea.
Well, right now I'm hunting for some sweet potatoes. You gonna try this?
Yeah, I certainly am.
Right.
So I tried this. I honestly, I've never. Andy, have you ever had a sweet potato liqueur? I'm not a big liqueur fan. I mean, I drink mixed drinks, but
I have.
When you sent this, David, I was like, well, it's fall. It's Thanksgiving is next week. Sweet potatoes, yeah, let's do it. And I had it. I said, Andy, it's actually quite good. I didn't know what to expect. And he's like, all right, let me try it over the weekend. Let me see what. And he calls me and said, well, I love the Merced Rye the most, but my second favorite was this sweet potato liqueur of all the stuff that we had. And he loved it.
So this is fantastic.
So
this is, and I wasn't sure what.
Oh my God, the nose on this.
But it's silly good and not in a cloyingly.
Well, tell us about this, Dave.
So, but I'll let you take this away.
Yeah, so it's 100% sweet potato based. We distill it like a brand. So we do it at 160 proof. It's barrel aged in new American oak charred barrels, just like our whiskey. And it's this batch is actually 7 years old. So it's been
okay.
And then we infuse cinnamon, vanilla, nutmeg, a little bit of allspice. But
that is crazy.
The thing that makes it the kicker, it's where it's not your traditional liqueur, is it's only 2% brown sugar. So most liqueurs are going to be 20 to 30% sugar. They're going to have this real sugar bomb. I'm not a real sweet drinker, so we decided to do the least amount of sugar by law.
He loves this.
2%. So.
Well, that's why there is a savoriness to it, which is interesting, right? I was expecting to be cloyingly sweet, and there is certainly cinnamon sweet. It tastes like
that's so silly dangerous.
Isn't it good?
It's really good.
It's got a savoriness to it that cuts through that I think you can drink this neat.
I'm gonna pour.
I don't know if people.
This is really good.
I mean, do people mainly mix this in cocktails? I'm sure you can.
Yes,
right? In fact, you did
in the bars. It's always the we've gotten a lot of love from bartenders realizing that it's 70 proof, doesn't have a ton of sugar in it. So we get a lot of split base old fashions, especially split base Manhattans. But I designed it to drink like an after dinner aperitif.
There you go.
It's sweet, but it's not like, oh man, I just have a ball of sugar in my mouth.
So David, we talked about this. You're Portuguese. If I were to go over to Portugal, my wife's family, and bring this and say, we're scrapping the port after dinner tonight. I got something better. Are they
I think you're causing problems.
Are they going to yell at me?
I think so.
Look, I understand, you being Portuguese yourself, how important it is, but this is pretty damn good for an after dinner drink. If I'm thinking, might be onto something here.
Yes.
I think it would fare well. I think a lot of people in Portugal, though, I noticed their liqueurs are super sweet.
Very sweet.
I'm not that drinker, but I think for everybody that's not a huge sugar fan, I think you'll win them over.
This is beautiful. So it's funny because I saw one recipe for a mixed drink online. It was your own. So you guys have a mixed drink, like a Corbin Cash sweet potato mixed drink that you guys have a recipe for somewhere online for something you do.
Yeah, so we do. Well, we have a full list of them here at the distillery.
Oh, do you?
So yeah, we mix it with mezcal. I mix it with
nice
whiskey. It's we've got gin cocktails with it. That's what's great from a bartender's perspective. When we first launched it, it was a challenge because a lot of the bartenders were like, "Dude, this is really good for a liqueur, but what do I do with it?" And I'm like,
well let me tell you something, David. I played around with this because Todd's like, what would you do with this? And I'm trying to think, like, what would I do with this outside just drink it neat, because this is really good neat. So I said, you know what? It's fall. It's getting cold. This feels like, let's get rid of like Jameson and make this, instead, we're going to have an Irish whiskey, but we're going to call it like a California whiskey. And so I put this in with coffee.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Look at you. Look at this guy.
Did like an Irish whiskey, did a little bit of like heavy cream on top with like a cinnamon stick and some allspice. It's money, man.
No, there you go.
You can put that up at the distillery and
no charge. It's free of charge.
We'll call it the 21090 coffee. I don't know, but no, it was fantastic. But it works really well. It was really, really good. It played perfectly in there. So
and now,
do it hot too.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, we're always looking for new, because people always ask, what do I do with it? It's so good, but I'm like, dude, it mixes with whatever.
I just drink it.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's certainly, I'm surprised how viscous it is too. It's 70 proof. Is that because it's a liqueur? Again, I'm not familiar with liqueurs, but on the mouth, it's it's like oily and it's 70 proof.
Yeah. So we, if you taste the sweet potato, if you were to taste our vodka, you'd be surprised how viscous even the vodka is. Even distilled at 190, but it's the sweet potato does have a lot of however residual sugar, and it's got a lot of, the vodka has a lot of leg on it, just like a wine.
Right.
So distilling this only at 160 proof, it just leaves a lot of texture in your mouth.
It's really, really good. I can, if anyone has a chance to get their hands on it, because I know everybody's out there.
How do you get this?
Whiskey fans here, but
how do you get this?
This is silly good. Should be on any bar.
I guess it's really, not at Sealbacks, but I guess locally, if you're in your area, you have it, or you sell to California. I guess you can order it if you live in California. Is that how that works?
Yeah. And we have some other retailers that ship across the country, and if you're in California, you can buy it directly off our website as well. So
that's awesome. Okay. Make friends in California. Have them mule it to you.
Yeah, and if anybody's looking for it, give us a call or shoot us an email on our website. And
there you go.
We'll get back to you.
We put the website up earlier. We'll put it up again. Yes. But honestly, this is money, guys. This is really, really good. And not just I was skeptical. You know that. At first. I was like, I don't know about this. Well, let's.
He called me out of the blue, Dave. Just listen. I've gone through them all. I love the Lost Lane. I love the barrel proof. I love this sweet potato sweet potato liqueur. What is it? I said, he sent it to us. We're going to talk about it. He's like, this is Thanksgiving in a glass. Yeah. I can't wait to do something with it.
Well, it's funny because whenever I hire a new sales guy there and we'll do these like whiskey events, we always take a bottle.
Got to.
And it's funny. Everybody comes like, hey, I was told I got to try the sweet potato. I got to try the sweet potato. I got to try the sweet potato. And my people get tired of hearing it. Let me guess, you're here to try the sweet potato because there's nothing like it, right?
I've never tasted anything like that.
It's own thing, but
it's really good, man. I mean, congrats on this. This is
and a cool bottle design too. We haven't talked about your bottle designs, but both the barrel proof 1917 and these other.
It's got this classic like kind of with the raised mat here, like on the side.
You said that was something with Vegas, right? There's something about like the inside of craps tables or something. I remember you saying something like that.
Yeah, so when we were designing the first vodka that I sold called High Roller, it was in Vegas. We designed this bottle specifically. So there's actually, if you look at the bottom, there's a dice on there.
Oh shit, there is.
That's cool.
You're right.
That's really cool.
So
that's so cool.
Yeah, so we designed. I worked with a company out of Napa, and they came up with this design, and we had the dice in the middle, and then when our goal was, we're going to sell this High Roller vodka to investors, and all that didn't work out. So we had this cool bottle, but I'm like, it looks awful fancy, so we wanted to like make it a little more craft. So then we worked it was really a challenge to come up with a paper label that would actually fit well, but it actually ended up we're pretty stoked about it, and it's worked well.
This could be an infinity bottle. This is awesome. I love the design. Very, very elegant and sleek. I think it's good.
So I hope some people out there get to try
yeah.
this. And whoever wins the super chat giveaway, I'll give you a nice 2-ounce sample of this so you can really get into it. I'll send it out so you have it for Thanksgiving, and you can thank us later because it's fantastic, among other things. Plus, I think getting almost a full bottle of this little 350 of 1917 is worth.
Yeah, we'll get there. That's
we'll get there. Let's go on real quick. David, we know I'm a rye guy and he's a rye guy. We love your ryes. We're going to get to there. Let's talk about the bourbon real quick before we go to ryes.
Yeah.
It's something where I know you've cut your teeth in ryes, but I assume people are saying, well, I'm a bourbon drinker and I need a bourbon. And so you made a bourbon. Is that how it went, or what's the history behind this?
Yeah, when I first started distilling, it was really like, I just wanted to be different. I wanted to be like, okay, we're going to make everything off of our farm. And, that's why we made 100% sweet potato alcohol and 100% rye. And I never really veered from that until, the whiskey came out. And of course when we first launched the rye and everybody's like, are you going to do a bourbon? And I'm like, probably not. Like we raise a little corn, but we don't raise a lot of corn. And I go, we don't raise malt, so that's not going to be farm to bottle. And but then it just kept going. You're going to make a bourbon. You're going to make a bourbon. And I'm like, well, I don't really like sweet. I was not a big bourbon fan. To be honest with you, over the years, it was just too sweet for me. And so then that's when I'm like, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to try to do a sour mash style and make that muted sweetness of bourbon. And so that's kind of what we took the attempt at, and pretty stoked about it. It's
so this is available on Sealbacks. So yeah. I get, you said it wasn't sweet, but I get a very strawberry forward flavor. This is me. Now everybody's palate's different. I get a fruit forward apple strawberry on it with that sort of baking spice. There, I assume, is some rye in this, correct? In this mash bill?
Correct. Yeah, it's 20% rye or 25%.
Not a huge amount, but you can. The finish to me is that baking spice rye.
That's a pretty hefty amount of rye. That's good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a peppery rye. So I don't know why I get strawberry, but I do apple, caramel, honey. This is my tasting notes, and then it's sort of a long cinnamon baking spice finish. It's, I think, super approachable at 106 proof. I think it might even drink a little bit higher than the 1.6, which is a good 106. I mean, I think if you're a rye drinker, you're gonna like this, and if you're a bourbon drinker, you're gonna love it. So there you go.
It's not overly sweet either, and I do think you did a good job. If that was what you were going for, you're gonna have sweeter bourbons in this.
Yes,
this isn't like a caramel bomb in your face. No. I think it's a little bit, it's a little bit softer and more subdued.
What do you get out of it, Dave? I'm curious. I mean, that was who knows what everybody's palate's different.
No, I don't get strawberry, but I do get some apples and citrus. Mainly, but it's funny, we're starting to see barrels, and sometimes I'm wondering, is this coming out of the barrels we're using? Because we're starting to see some of these older ryes with those notes as well.
Okay.
But I feel like it does drink hotter though than the 106.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a bad thing.
No, I don't think it's a bad thing.
Using strawberries, I'm getting more like a pitted fruit, almost like
maybe
like a cherry, dark cherry note on there. That's kind of
cherry.
Yeah, that could be it.
But it's again really approachable, a good finish.
It's available in Sealbacks right now. So if you're looking for a bourbon as well, I really I mistakenly bought this small one. I thought it was like, oh, this is. I tasted one sip of it, and I was like, because actually I should give credit to Whiskey Wars right there. Sean of Whiskey Wars sent us. He must have got, Sean, I don't know where you got the sample from, but you or the bottle from. Maybe it was Bobby from Bad X Bourbon out there in California. But he said, Todd, I know you like ryes. I'm sending you this Corbin Cash. I want you to tell me what you think of it. I had never heard of you, Dave. This is probably about, I don't know, 6 to 7, 8 months ago. I don't know how long ago, this year. And I immediately drank it and said, what is this God's nectar that I'm drinking? Where's Corbin's Cash and how can I get more? And he's like, well, it's in California. I can't get any more. But then I saw, I think Mash and Journey was in here.
Jason was just in here.
Jason was just in here. He did a pick of it, which I didn't get. But then Sealbacks all started popping up. I was like, well, give me it all. I'll take it all. And I'm glad I did. But I mean, it's just, it's I love your ryes, but the bourbon's there too. And I wanted to try it, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and we're using a white corn rather than a yellow dent corn.
Right.
The corn that we use is more for corn tortillas, flour tortillas, obviously. Big Hispanic community out here, so we have a lot of white corn.
That's all we eat here in Maryland is white corn. I mean, that's the sweet white corn. That's it. I mean, and that's what the Still Austin, I think, their bourbon is off of the white corn as well, which we loved. So yeah.
That's probably why I loved it.
Oh, that's right. We'll get to that at the very end. We'll have a cool story about that. But David has. Oh, by the way, I want to say this. Jay from Shared Pour just emailed us tonight, Andy. Everything finally. It's been sold out for like 3 or 4 months, but I guess they hold back 2 cases in case things get injured and broken in shipping. And he said that we're past the point where anybody could claim that something went bad. I just put up the last 12 of your the save back 12. Yep. They're up there right now. So if you didn't get pour some Austin on me, guys, there's 12 that was just put on Shared Pour tonight. I don't know if it's still available. This was around right before we went live. Jay emailed us. And so we're pleased to announce that if you didn't get any, and Bourbon Bounty, there you go. Go to Shared Pour right now and look up 21090's Pour Some Austin on Me. You can get the last 12 that they held back for shipping issues that were just finally put up 3 months later for some reason. I think you might have forgotten about them, but there you go. Anyway, I don't know how I got into that.
That's cool. Shameless plug, but it is our show. We're allowed to do that. It is our show.
That's
true. We're allowed to do that, right?
Is it still available, Andy? Is it still any left, or is it saying it's sold out again that quickly? You got to find it first.
I'm going to look, but whatever. That's fine.
I promise you, he said that.
Don't distract a man with ADD. It's not fair. That's not even cool to do. But that's all right.
Anyway, we're here about Corbin Cash. So bourbon, really nice. I think it's fantastic. And so, what's the did I hear you right? This bourbon's going to go up to 6 years. Is that correct?
Yeah. So 6 years. Our next release will be 6 years.
That's nice. So are we looking at the 106 proof again? I mean, not that it matters. I mean, how did you determine 106? Just where it fell?
106 is just where it came out. So
okay.
We pulled it. And we did this more Kentucky style too. So this has been like in more of a temperature controlled room, like we did our older barrels of rye.
Okay.
So because it went in at a lower proof. So we do the barrels. We're doing the bourbon. We went in at 110 and we create a little more humidity in the room to be more like Kentucky. So instead of our proofs going up like with the rye, they've actually went down. Cooler longer. So
got it.
Trying to, be a little traditional, but not very traditional because we're obviously from California. So
I love it. I love that.
So if we're so we did the sweet potato, which was fantastic. We did the bourbon. Really enjoyed the bourbon. If the ryes are the star of the show, let's transition to music for a second.
Oh, sure. Let's do it. Let's go here. Beer, bourbon, rock and roll.
Beer, bourbon, rock and roll. So there's a concert. It's going to be out around that Atwater Fremont area in California. You're putting on.
Oh,
you get to bill 3 bands that you can put together. David Souza, Corbin Cash presents. These 3 bands are playing your opener, who's going after them, and who is your headliner.
Wow.
I'm throwing you on the spot here,
man.
On the spot.
Wow. So he's asking you, David, who do you love seeing live? Or who do you want to see? I'll help him. Can I go?
No,
headliner.
You don't get to go. This is what you do. You jump in.
I was trying to give him a little time to think.
Well, you can gnaw it over here, but this is
everybody knows
his concert. We don't know your.
Well,
let's listen to Todd's. Here's an example of a bad example, but we'll let Todd go.
Well, my opener would be we have a local band, Kicks. They just retired. They're an old 80s band. They would be the opener because I want to see them again. And then let's go Motley Crue 1988. And then leading into Queen, because I've never seen Queen, and I would love to see Freddie Mercury play live again. That'd be like my ultimate to see him play on stage. So that would be my band. That would be this. So there you go. And
so that's an example.
I just saw Motley Crue last year.
Yes, they're a bit of a show of themselves. I mean, let's be honest. I love Motley Crue.
Yeah, I saw them with Def Leppard actually.
Oh, Andy, we were at that show too. We had second row seats.
They were.
Yeah, I just felt bad that Vince Neil ate the rest of the members of Motley Crue.
Oh God, he's a hater, David. He's a hater.
I'm not a hater. I liked Crue before they were a shell of themselves. I did like them back in the day, but
I love Crue.
But you can put your show on. So who you got?
I think so. If I could go back and see, because I've seen them older and I thought they were amazing. but I'm thinking like, man, I wish I would have seen these guys younger. Would be AC/DC. Like,
Oh yes, that's great call,
and then
David.
90s Metallica.
Oh,
And then
It's a big show right now.
that's a great show. Much better than my show.
Yeah, dude, who would my headline?
I love that. He said that was the first concert I ever went to,
And
David. I was 16 years old.
Who's my headliner? So
1992.
he's got AC/DC, Metallica, and
1992. It's 3 headliners, Andy. He's just it's his
That
concert.
is
Let him do it.
well, oh, you just said who would my dream concert be?
That's right, Andy.
Yeah,
you did say that.
I love it.
Like, actually a smaller band that I really like I like Alice in Chains too.
Oh yes, I never saw them. Yes, with Lane
I've
Staley.
seen
No
them
doubt.
once, but not with the original singer.
Look at that. David, did we just become best friends? Whiskey Wars just please say Nirvana. Yes, Joe Graves was hoping you would say Nirvana.
I love Nirvana.
There it is.
I never got to see Nirvana.
I like them too. Andy hates them because they killed hair metal.
We're having technical difficulties. No, look. Well, no.
Andy, don't put our barrel pick in jeopardy, will you?
It's not. Look, Alice in Chains was in that grunge movement. I love Alice in Chains. I just did not like Nirvana. That's just me. But I think that's a killer lineup. So you got Alice in Chains, AC/DC, Metallica.
That.
That's really good.
Jeez,
Todd, you got Queen, Kicks, and
Motley Crue from 1988.
It's a weird show. That's kind of fun.
Shut up, Andy. What's yours? Def Leppard, and Def Leppard?
Well, yeah, Def Leppard would open up for Def Leppard, who would close, and then Def Leppard would come out and do the finale on the encore. No,
that's exactly what.
I would definitely have Lep and then Bon Jovi doing like I would have right before Leppard. Bon Jovi would come on, but a la like 1987, like 88 Bon Jovi.
Yes,
before when they were still like real
rock
Bon Jovi.
stars.
Yeah, rock stars.
Yes.
I haven't seen that. I love their music, but I still haven't seen them, and I want to. Is Disturbed. I don't know if you're.
Yes. I've never seen them live, but I've watched videos, and I have a good friend who loves it. Katie Richter loves this, and Kenny Smith.
Yeah, it's on Katie's mom at CVS.
They love. She loves it. Like, is a groupie of Disturbed, which is kind of weird because she's such a clean cut person. But yeah, Disturbed is.
There's just something
great.
about their music. It's just like.
So when you're just distilling, do you have like the tunes cranking and like is there music flowing or all the time or what?
If I'm working by myself, especially, because I'll get in at sometimes I'll get in here at 3:00 in the morning.
Oh my gosh,
4:00 in the morning, and I'm like, I need to wake up and just crank up. We got a big old speaker right here that we usually use for the venue, but I'm just like, we'll crank it up and get some tunes going.
I love that. All right, let's get in some ryes, Andy. I'm a rye guy.
Right,
you're a rye guy.
We love our ryes here. We have to love rye. We're from Maryland, so we have to love rye. It's kind of in our blood. You love rye, Ravens, and Orioles, right? So
yes,
and Kicks
and Sagamore.
All right, so I guess just proof alone.
Yeah.
Let's start
with
the
Merced rye,
the 90 proof. Yeah. Can we do that? There we go.
There we go. Let's do it. So we're talking about the Merced rye. Tell us a little about it.
Yeah, so this was our first release. It is 100% rye. The Merced rye it's the grain we talk about being very drought tolerant. It will grow in as little as like 7-8 inches of rain throughout the year. In the 107 years we've been farming it, we've only had to irrigate it roughly 3 times. So, but pre-making whiskey, we never used it for anything except we harvested it to plant it the next year. So essentially why I wanted to do something better with it. So it was definitely a challenge to work with, especially not having any experience with rye. When it was in the 5-gallon still, it wasn't so terrible. It wasn't until I bumped it to the 500-gallon cooker is when we actually stuck a whole tank and turned it into peanut butter, which was interesting time. Never had that happen to me in a small batch. I was like, oh, I must have figured this out. Well, the bigger the batches get, the more challenging they get.
I love there's a uniqueness on this nose. On this bouquet is different, which I think is really cool.
Well, it reminds me of like a malted barley single malt. Is it to me on the nose a bit? But doesn't it? That sort of. I mean, it's got that sort of funky, earthy tone to it.
So I'm curious. When did you get this bottle?
Within the last 2 months. I bought it on sealbacks.
So
Maybe
this-
within the last 45 days.
Okay, so I'm trying to think because he held on to it for a while before they put it. I'm trying to think if this is that new batch.
No.
That I'm telling you about.
Is there any way I would know by anything on the bottle?
No.
Okay.
It would just be based on when it was released.
And it's 5 years. So these are all 5 years age. Is that the same? So let me ask you this: between this and the barrel proof of 1917, same mash bill, same. It's just this is barrel proof. This is cut to 90. Is there anything different in these?
No. So
that's
they're
crazy.
exactly
That's
the
crazy.
same. Exactly.
That's funny because you will see differences in flavor profile.
Oh my God, yes.
But what I like, the 90 feels a little bit more raw, organic, and kind of like this representation of like, I feel like I want to be outside drinking this. Like this just has this feeling of like true grain to glass, and not in a bad way, like in a way that's it's something that's unique for even rye drinkers who are looking just for mint and like peppermint and
I don't get mint on this
pepper.
at all, though.
It's not like that, which I really love. By the way, speaking of there's Nancy popping in saying,
"Get out of here." Nancy's here.
She loves Nirvana, but loves Bon Jovi and Motley Crue as well. Hey, she's a musician.
Oh,
she knows all
Nancy,
her
we
stuff.
love
She's
Nancy.
awesome.
Good to see you, Nancy. Super happy to have you on board, and I know she loves David as well. So maybe we can figure out a day to get Nancy out to David to do some blending for Corbin Cash. How amazing would that be?
Super close, right?
I mean, yeah, exactly. Andy, you need to be there at that time, and then figure out a way that they can.
Todd sets things up without even knowing. He just.
I send Andy out. I send Andy out. Yes.
Before you know it, we'll have all these plans laid out. We'll be in good shape. I really like this. The more I drink this, let me say this about the Merced Rye. If I can be honest with you, okay? If you crack it open, take a quick sip, sniff in a sip, you'll be like, "What is this?" Like you almost have to pause for a second.
It's super unique.
This is something you have to kind of, and this is what I like about whiskey. If you're looking for something just traditional and just grab it,
you get that rye
spice
spice right away, right? Yeah.
But this is something you want to sit with and let it open and let it kind of just kind of linger and just kind of just enjoy it, because it does change. It evolves a little bit.
See, I even get like a chocolate malt ball in that as well. Like, I don't know if that's just, again, my palate could be, I get that a little bit. Like a malt.
I think you've got the batch that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
2016. Because
is that bad or good? That's good, right? I love it.
If you guys like it, I think it's in perspective. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour you I'll pour you 200 mLs.
Okay. And see the difference.
And that way you can see the difference.
Perfect.
And then you can let me know if you feel like the other one is closer to the 1917.
Okay, because I don't think they're the same. When we drink the 1917, right? Are you wrong? I mean, we drink that. It's like
very different.
Very different.
So
you got the good one. So this one tastes more organic. Like it's tasting more like you get that malty.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes almost like malt whiskey rather than.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Whiskey. That's exactly what I thought when I first drank this.
And so
which I like. I am.
So that's why I'm like all about the bottle and bond, because when you're telling me all the notes you're tasting, I'm like, you definitely have the new batch.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Nice.
Well, either way, I enjoyed that one. I thought that was a good pour.
And it's got one of the best bottles, I think,
and I just
out there.
I do love the uniqueness of it, because it is not like your traditional rye whiskey, which I think is really
By
cool.
the way, you want a good infinity bottle? Drink this and then use this as your infinity bottle, because I think these bottles I actually love this as well, which is these are extremely amazing, but this could be a great infinity bottle as well.
Yep.
So there you go. Anyway.
All right. So here's a segue teaser for next week.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2 weeks. I'm sorry, 2 weeks from now.
Well, hold on. Before we get to that, shouldn't we just go to this and then go to that? We should end on this. This is a single barrel of this.
Don't kill my segue.
Okay, go ahead.
We were right there.
Okay, sorry.
So
go ahead, Andy. This is your show.
We are kind of like an old, like the old men from the Muppets. Like, by the way, like that's kind of like us up in the balcony.
Somebody called us Bert and Ernie the other day.
I'm not sure if I like that.
I don't think I like that either. I don't know who's Bert and who's Ernie. I really don't know.
Well, Bert's got the Joe Flacco eyebrows.
That'd be you. That'd be you. I guess I'm Ernie. Anyway.
In 2 weeks, we're having the folks from
Nora and Adam from Lost Lantern are being on. So we have their single barrel pick.
We do have the single barrel from Corbin Cash, and the reason why I wanted to
do that next,
is because I think it's amazing. Just Lost Lantern, they are only honey barrels. Like, they want to find just the best of the best, the cream of the crop. it's amazing they came out to Atwater, and tell me about that and how this came about, because
it's great
for those who don't know Lost Lantern and those who don't know Corbin Cash. This is a pairing which ended up being a match made in heaven. This is a fantastic pour. But tell me about that experience. We're gonna have him on in a couple of weeks and we'll talk about it, but it's a great transition.
Yeah, Adam reached out. I think one of my sales guys and him had connected, and they, put him in contact with me and kind of told me what he was doing, if I want to know if we'd be open to it. And at first I was kind of like, so you want to put, I never had heard of them. So I wasn't sure what he was doing. And then so I looked up and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, do their own thing, they tell it where it comes from, but it's like, and so, yeah, they've done, they did 3 barrels with us. And so I don't know.
So that's what this run was, 3 barrels?
No.
Oh, there's more coming then.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
I like it. No, hey, we'll ask about that next week.
We love to drop nuggets.
We like it. There you go.
That's so no, and then they did 3 picks, and I think this one, if I remember right, this was barrel.
So this is barrel cast number 14.
Okay, so this isn't the one I'm. So they got my favorite one hasn't even popped yet. I don't think.
So.
You'll
have to give us a heads up, because
I think Nora and
we'll let them.
And Adam will tell us that.
It was funny. I told Todd, and this had to be about a year and a half ago.
You told me about Los Angeles. I said, like you, David, I had never heard of Los Angeles. I didn't know what they were.
There's something brewing here. I said they go out and they're ridiculously particular about what they will select, and they will turn down a distillery. They'll go out and taste for a day and say, you know what, we didn't find what we're looking for, and they'll move on. And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen with them, but every single bottle that I purchased has been top notch, really good. And even from some distilleries that I had never heard of before.
My God, the nose on this.
So when Todd said, yeah, Corbin Cash is doing one with Los Angeles, like, we got to grab that. That's
sold out very quickly too.
Fast, yeah. So
very quickly.
Yeah,
you must love that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was a good experience. Adam came out, and he, like you said, he goes, "We want to see that you're real. We want to see what you're doing." There's a lot of fluff in the industry, so he come out and gave him a tour of the farm and the rye and sweet potatoes, and we tasted some barrels, and he's like, "All right, like." We're gonna, and I think he picked some really good ones. So
there we go. So Nancy's in a game. Not to change subject, but when Nancy Fraley says she's game for anything, we gotta wish
from game for a collab with David.
We gotta make this happen.
So and loves what you're doing at Corbin Cash. So
David, we gotta make this happen. We gotta make this happen. We gotta make Nancy. We gotta get Nancy down to Atwater. I don't know how far that is from where she is in California, but. We've got to make this happen.
About an hour and a half, probably.
Oh my gosh!
Berkeley.
Could you imagine Corbin Cash with Nancy Fraley? Wow! Wow!
We gotta get that done.
Mind blown. Anyway,
that's what Todd does.
I love it. I think that's great. I mean, come on, we're talking about 2 legends here. Anyway, back to this. What I love about this is that when we'll drink the 1917, again, single. It shows you what the power of single barrels, right? So they came in. I assume they tried a bunch of barrels of yours and picked 3. Now, Are those? Do they keep the barrels at your facility, or they don't ship them back to Vermont, right? You keep, or do they?
No, we shipped them to them.
You did?
Once a couple of them. One of them was on the verge of just being under 7, so they wanted to wait till they turned. When they picked it, it wasn't quite 7, I think.
Okay.
So we held on to it for a little bit. They got all the the paperwork. Because you got to go through the whole transfer and bond and all that stuff. So by the time it was done, all of those barrels were over 7 years old, and so we shipped them. We shipped it to them, and then they do their thing with it. So
they're still housing those 2. They'll bottle it there too. Then they bottle it. They do everything.
Yeah, they work with somebody to do all the bottling. So they've already. This is the second release.
Okay, right. Okay, so we missed the first one. Damn it.
You guys missed the first one.
How do we do that? I know we're late on that.
I'm usually good at getting on the Los Angeles. Well,
I know. We missed it. Okay, well, all right.
Well, my Portuguese wife doesn't like all my whiskey that comes in because I've got so much of it coming all the time. So
we're not going to talk about that tonight, Andy.
Well,
she might be watching.
I might have an extra bottle laying around. I'll see.
Oh, I love that.
There you go. Well, Andy, when you make it out there early next year, David will crack it open with you. How's that?
Yep, yeah. I love that. And Todd, you're coming with me, right?
Sure. I'm sure my wife will let me come across the country. Sure.
Poor Todd.
Well, you're going out there for work.
He lives vicariously through me.
I do, actually.
Which is great.
It's great. It works that well that way. So what I love about this Lost Lantern. And guys, did anybody else get this? I mean, maybe it's gone now, so you can't get it. But maybe there's another one coming, and we're going to have Amanor on in 2 weeks. We'll certainly talk about this and what's coming from Lost Lantern in terms of Corbin Cash. But did anybody else in the chat get this? Because this is one of the best rye whiskeys of the year. I mean, the 1917. Actually, though, I did blind the 1917, just this bottle versus this. I picked this over it blindly. I did do that, Andy. And he scoffed at me, like, "How could you do that?" I did. I did do that.
And this was actually up for best rye whiskey in the world.
Of course. Well, is that the one I have?
Yeah, that's the one you have.
No, for Christ's sakes!
I told you, man.
It was in Vegas. Nora actually went and we didn't get it, but but hey, to be nominated.
Hell yeah. It's amazing. I get
4 whiskeys.
It's like a chocolate pastry cream, baking spice. These are my notes for it. Spice cake. It's really, really good. It's super viscous.
It's just damn good.
What's the proof on it? What is it? Oh, Jesus. This is 64.9%, so that's almost 130. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Is it really?
It's 65%.
It does not drink like that. That's
good God.
Dangerous.
That's super dangerous.
Yeah,
well,
that's really good.
That is, you must be proud of that. I mean, when somebody
that's really good.
That's really awesome. Gosh. So Andy, when we go and pick a single barrel, it's got to be as good as that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It's got to be as good as that.
We can do that.
No doubt.
Especially since you sent Nancy with me and everybody else.
Exactly.
I don't know who else is coming.
We're going to make this. We're going to will this to happen.
It'll be fine. Yeah.
For sure. Wow. Just a fantastic whiskey.
Cheap plug. We did put the link in. There are, so JH just got one.
There you go.
There are some still awesome barrels.
Now there's only 11 or 10 left. There it is. So, well, I don't want to. Before we get to that, I want to finally drink the last one. Again, if anybody tonight, if you want to super chat,
wait, we'll do this first.
What are you gonna do?
Some music interjection.
Okay, but I'm just saying the super chats are for everything we're drinking tonight. You'll get a sample of, plus almost a full bottle of their 350 milliliter of the.
You're gonna love all these pours tonight. They're all really, really good. You're gonna love them.
Music and good. Yes.
All right,
yes.
David. So let's put you back in the music spot. Deserted Desert Island, and here's your 2-part question.
Okay.
You can bring 1 bottle of whiskey with you, and it can't be Corbin Cash. It's got to be somebody else.
Ooh, okay. Good
and
question.
You can bring 2 CDs to take with you to listen while you're there. So you're not drinking Corbin Cash because it's not on this island. What do you drink if you're not there, and what are you listening to? Give me 2 CDs you want to take with you.
Oh.
We like to make this hard.
Yes,
you can't
very
hard.
hard.
You can't prep for this, David. You can have your notes for the whiskey. This is different.
Well, that's it's always like people ask, well, what's your favorite of your products, or what's your favorite whiskey? And I'm like, well, it always depends on my mood. And that's almost like asking you, what's your favorite child, right? It's like, so where am I headed? Did you tell me my destination?
Wherever it is, you're not getting off. You better like the whiskey. You better like the music.
And you can't have your own juice. That's terrible. What kind of world is this, Andy? God,
I don't know, some dystopian place where he's good. He's well fed, and
Okay.
No.
So the question is, what else are you drinking besides Corbin Cash? I guess that's the question. What do you like besides Corbin Cash?
I mean, honestly, you guys turned me on to Still Austin.
Yes.
All right,
I'll take that 100%. Yes. How good is that, right?
That was my first pick, and I've been sipping on this bottle that Bobby gave me.
That's really cool.
Because when and it's not that I love all kinds of whiskeys. But it's funny because I taste so much whiskey all the time, my other go-to is always like a nice mezcal.
Okay.
Smoky mezcal. But
yeah.
This Still Austin pick, it really kind of changed my life. And you told me it's only 3 years old?
It's only 3.5 years old.
The old pour some moss on me, huh?
3.5 years old.
Well, that makes my heart happy. There.
I mean, here's the funny thing.
There it is.
Andy
people.
went down to and so Nancy Fraley, who's in the chat, gave us a little bit of direction as to where to go in the rick house and said, listen, if you guys are doing this, do it right. And not many people get to go to the rick house. Like, they don't do that usually. But we know Nancy. We knew the COO at the time. And Andy got in there. You got down there. You went to the rick house. Nancy gave him instructions. You followed those instructions with John, their master distiller.
I blindly went and said,
he brought back 5 expressions for us on a live stream so I could taste it too. And we picked this one, and I'll never forget. They were all so different. That's the great thing about single barrels, right? They were all so different, right, from the regular profile. And this one was so different that John, the master distiller, if you don't do anything with this barrel, I'm doing something with it. So we're taking that one.
I knew from the second that I sipped on it, though. So there's something very different about this. We were out there, and that's so this is when we were out there in Still Austin, and sipping straight from the barrel, which was a ton of fun. And the rick house is about 40 minutes outside of Austin. But man, there was just we tried some amazing stuff, but we probably sipped through, I want to say, maybe 8 to 10 different whiskeys. Well, and this one particular whiskey just jumped out at me. I said, that is unlike anything I've had.
But you brought back
today.
4 other samples. I didn't taste anything.
I knew then what I wanted, but I wanted Todd to be on the same page. And he unanimously was like, this is the one. Like, got to do it.
We got cream soda a lot on that, too.
Really
you know what?
Yeah.
Do we drink a little bit of it?
Well, no, we got to do it. We got to do 1917 first. Then we can do it. Unless it's up to you. David, what do you want to do next?
Well, let's do the 1970s.
Let's do the 1970s.
Yes, and the night. Yes. So evidently, I blinded this against the Lost Lantern, and this one. I mean,
the Lost Lantern is silly good, dude.
This is silly good. This is my whiskey.
This is good too, though.
This is really probably going to be my whiskey of the year, rye whiskey of the year for me personally. I love this bottle. I can't wait to do a single barrel with you, David. Listen, I was the same way about Still Austin. I'm about that. About maybe Kings County in New York. I love Sagamore. It's in our backyard. This bottle to me is what rye whiskey should be. I absolutely love everything about it, and thank you for making it. That's all I can say. I had to say that. So well done. It
is beautiful.
Yeah, and it's it came off of kind of a fluke.
That's crazy. Oh, the nose was
just doing farm tours, and I was like, I didn't have any inkling to, at least not so early, to do a barrel proof. I liked it, but but when I think I said it on Bobby's show that it's the wives were just like, can we buy this straight out of the barrel? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you like this? And
yes,
I mean, I kind of really turned on to like, okay, maybe this is good for everybody. And I think the fact that it's it's only 5.25 years, it's still real approachable. The 123 proof it's warm, but it's the finish on it it's long. Like, it's really long. It's got a lot of richness, which you don't get as much with the higher proofs. But
we appreciate that. Yeah, no, this is absolutely fantastic. And by the way, for everyone who's super chatted tonight, thank you. Developer HD, it's kind of funny. He's new to the stream. He's been watching the Reactionize videos, which you guys, if you haven't seen them, go check them out. But he's going to appreciate this. So
what are you doing?
Our way of saying thank you to all of you who have super chatted.
Oh, okay.
Rock on. Thank you.
A young Joe Elliott and Def Leppard right there.
It really is. They're the greatest band of this and/or any generation.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just going to say that.
So, David, for this, so where will this go to? Will this go to a higher age statement as you go? I mean, will it go to? I mean, what are single barrel? Like, could you? What was the Lost Lantern single? Like, what was the age statement of this? And what is this? I'm curious.
So all the rye you tasted tonight, it's all the same. It's just a different age. So
okay.
The 1917 and the 5-year, I know in this version they taste very different.
Right.
Like you said, the round bottle tastes more like a malt whiskey.
Yep.
That's not the norm. So this is that bottled and bond batch I'm telling you about. It's like, this is why we want to make it. So we can be like, hey, malt whiskey fans, this is what we have, right?
Yeah.
It tastes like a malt ball.
That's what I said. Yes. I like that though.
This is so good. God, this is good. This is really, really good.
The inkling was that, typically they don't taste that much different, but the 1917 is just like, I think once you get to it, it's hard to go back to the 90 proof, honestly.
Yeah, I listen. I agree with you, but you know what? Sometimes you can't drink full, and you're cutting the grass, and you want something to taste good, and you're saying, so we'll go to this.
You don't want to fall down while you're cutting grass.
Exactly. Thank you, David. That's
Todd
my
only
point.
likes 90 proof whiskey straight when he's cutting grass. He doesn't want to go up in the 120s. That's too much for him.
Correct. I will not listen, or I'm grilling, and I have to.
No, I'll be honest with you though.
There's nothing wrong with 90 proof. I like 90 proof. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nancy, we've had a bunch of people tell us this too.
Yeah.
Sometimes barrel proof or cask strength can mask the deficiencies of a whiskey.
That's true.
Sometimes it can do the opposite. It can enhance it. This is a case where I think it just elevated everything to another level. It was just really that good. I think it was just absolutely amazing.
Eric. It's awesome. Yeah.
This is, I will agree with Todd. The hardest part for me is picking between the Lost Lantern and the.
That's what I'm saying. I blinded it, Andy, and
both of them would easily be in my top 5.
I blinded these two
easily,
with Old Carter Rye that I absolutely love, and still pick this number 1 blinded. I swear to you, we did it on the live stream. I had this number 1.
I have no problems. That's really, really good.
And I love Old Carter Rye. It's
absolutely fantastic.
Amazing.
We know Mark and Sherry, they're great. I mean, we thank it. By the way, Eric, thank you very much. We appreciate you, man.
So anyway, I get a
Mr. Jiggs. We're not happy about that.
Oh yeah,
go Browns. That's not very nice
bad for us.
But thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that.
We're Raven fans, and I'm going Thursday night. If you guys watch Thursday Night Football, I will be there.
We will be.
You
there
will be there
Thursday.
too. Yes, we're tailgating. We're frying.
Going.
We're frying 2 turkeys at the tailgate.
Happy Thanksgiving
and happy Thanksgiving, everyone. So at tailgate football, let's fry some turkeys. Why not? Right?
Nice.
There you go.
We're injecting those bad boys, man.
Well, I'm brining one. We're brining one and injecting one.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
have a good time.
Marinate it with some sweet potato liqueur.
See, this is coming. We should
maybe
bring
inject.
this too. We should so bring this.
I don't know.
I actually put that on my steaks. It does.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, I can see this one a little bit like.
I think I have to come out to California now.
You're not allowed.
I gotta figure out a way for my wife to let me come out to California.
Is there any way that you could bring us some stuff here? Because Todd can do that. If you come to Baltimore, Todd's allowed to do that.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
His wife's not Portuguese.
That's a good
That's true. That's true. So on the 1917, I get a bunch of like a root beer, like a cola root beer, and then it goes into like a semi-sweet chocolate, and then the baking spices, and it's super viscous. Yeah. Rye spice. It's baking. It's
a gorgeous pour.
Beautiful.
It really is. By the way, Nancy, thank you. She's no need to apologize. She's ready for dinner, but her love to David and to us, and thank you.
All right, we got to work with this,
you.
David. Nancy, let's get this happening, David. I'm going to make sure you get in touch with Nancy, and we get this happening.
Is there anyone, Nancy? I'll send you some bottles.
Honestly, is there anyone nicer in the industry though?
No,
Nancy may be the kindest person that we've met in the entire whiskey world. She's just that nice.
I need to sit down with Nancy. I need to have a pour of whatever whiskey that she wants, and then we need to listen to some Leonard Skinner, and that's I'll be complete doing that with her.
But Nancy needs to come here because you're not allowed to go wherever.
Well, that's true. Damn it. Stupid limitations. Anyway, we'll figure that out though when it comes down. Yeah, when the kids get older, I'll be able to do more.
It's just too easy, but it's fun.
All right, thank you, Nancy. That's so awesome. Todd's not allowed to stay. That's kind of true sometimes. Anyway, all right. Last but not least, so I was watching you and to Bobby from Bad X Bourbon, which one of the best guys out there. I love Bobby. I know you love Bobby. How far is he from you? He lives in California, so is he far from you?
No, he's probably, if you don't count traffic, he's about 40 minutes from me.
So how often is he at the Corbin? Is he like always there?
No, because he's always working.
Okay. I would be always there. The thing was, I saw him there. He was at your distillery, which was really where you're at now. I think that's where you are now, right? So there you go. He had our pick. He wanted to, I guess, expose you to Still Austin, and I'm very appreciative that he brought our pick from there. There it is. That's And he gave you the rest of the bottle, which
was awesome.
Which was great. And I saw your reaction, and I said, Andy, you got to watch this.
I did watch it. I was like, I almost pulled the clip to put it up, but it was a little bit choppy, so I didn't pull it up. But yeah, so if you guys watch, Bax Bourbon had David on.
Well, he was at David.
I should say that he was there at Corbin Cash, and they were sipping on the Still Austin pick. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, really? But which was actually really cool. So. Yeah, the fact that you
let's drink a little bit of bourbon, huh?
Actually enjoyed it, made our hearts happy. That was really cool.
So we're relatively new to this Patreon and picking, right? So we actually cut our teeth, Dave. We're home brewers, so we got into this as brewing beer, and I've got beer on tap right here at Martin. I'm brewing a coconut brown ale for Christmas, and we brew. So that's but. We started like saying, oh, well, let's drink beers then. Because we couldn't. There's only so many brewing videos you can do, right? You do the same thing. You distill. It's the same thing, kind of over and over again. What else can I do? So we started drinking commercial beers and reviewing them, and then we had these barrel aged beers. And we're like, wow, what's imparting all this flavor in these stouts that we love so much, right? Mm-hmm. And then he's like, well, it's whiskey. I'm going to start drinking whiskey. I'm like, no, I'm never drinking whiskey. Andy went down that road way before me. And I think I'll never forget the first whiskey I ever tried was Old Grandad 114, David. And it about killed me. It about killed me.
I thought he was going to lose his lunch.
It about killed me. And now I love it. I've got
here I am saying, Todd, this tastes like cinnamon red hot. So you're going to love this. And he's like, this is garbage. Like
I just said it tastes like kerosene. My palate wasn't ready for it, right? It wasn't ready for it.
But it really has been a cool transition over to learn about the kind of the
whiskey.
Yeah.
The art of it.
Yeah. Both of them blend together so well.
Yeah.
So,
well, and just
it's been really cool journey.
It's like anything with alcohol, right? It's like you start off young and your palate's not developed. And we do these whiskey classes by Whiskey University here at the distillery, where they teach you about different whiskeys and start an entry level and get deeper and deeper. And
it is.
Our second class was the instructor was telling me, oh yeah, my favorite whiskey is Wild Turkey. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Wild Turkey? There's so many whiskeys he's just done. My favorite distillery. And I'm like, dude, the last time I drank Wild Turkey, I was 19 years old. And I
like Wild Turkey, though.
But no, Dave is absolutely right. Well, that was the reputation back in the day. Was Wild Turkey is like something you drink like cheap whiskey, shooting back and taking shots in college. So who knew what an amazing distillery they were when you got down to it?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if the whiskey got better or my palate is now developed, but when we went through the pour down, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I am a fan. Like, I went and bought a bottle of Eagle Rare because I'm like, he changed my mind. Like, I'm like, he's like, you haven't drank it in a while? I'm like, no, I mean, I had it when I was 19, dude, and it was the worst whiskey I ever had. Like, it burned.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh my God, yes.
But yeah, I think probably two things. Things have gotten better, but also my palate wasn't developed, right? Like I wasn't ready to drink that stuff. We were still drinking Southern Comfort and Coke.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was drinking beer, and that's all I drank was beers.
Palate's changed.
And IPAs.
There was a time when Todd really wasn't all that vested in whiskey.
No.
And he learned, but this is just not too long ago for you to enjoy, David.
Excellent. Okay, what you guys are all waiting for tonight on our live stream, our members only giveaway is something very special. We are giving away our top 5 whiskeys of 2020 to a lucky winner. Those are going to be the Knob Creek 12-year Select, the Wild Turkey Rare Breed Ride, the Rare Breed Masters Tier 17, the Old Crow Double Barrel 47, and then the Maker's Mark's P90X. All absolutely amazing bourbons that you can't find easily that Andy has. One lucky member will get it. So we can't wait to see you tonight, 8:30 p.m. And we'll have some fun. Cheers. I'm at the beach. That's where the live stream will be.
X was the actual Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark P90X.
There's backstory to that. It was 2020. I just started drinking whiskey. I didn't know what I really like. I didn't know what I was saying, evidently. I said, Andy, we're going live. I need to know what your favorite whiskeys of the year are. He's like, he sent me.
I wrote down like Old Crow Double Barrel 47.
Old Crow Double Barrel 47. What the hell?
I said Maker's Mark P90X. There's no way he'll actually read that.
I did.
He calls me and he says,
I did.
I just put the video up.
Here. You remember that?
I just put the videos up. And I said, wait, with the P90X? I said, Todd, that's a workout program. He goes, I just read what you said. It was, and people.
You said you actually posted that. I'm like, yes. He's like, yes.
I was
oh my
so
God, I
excited.
can't believe you did that.
Yeah, so excited. We've known each other for 40 years, so this has been like since kindergarten. So this is old hat for us.
Yes.
But
yeah. So that was in 2020. I didn't know much about whiskey.
He's come a long way.
I've come a long way. Come a long way. So there you go. It is what it is. And so if we ever do a Maker's Mark pick, which I don't know if we ever will, you know what it'll be called. It will be called P90X for sure.
For sure.
There you go.
You have to.
What will a Corbin Cash pick be called, Andy?
I have to think about it. We'll put some thought into it.
It will have a Def Leppard undertone to it.
It may.
Oh boy. There you go. So what do you think of the Still Austin pick? I know when you drank with Bobby, you loved it. We love Still Austin. I mean, it's great Texas whiskey, right?
Yeah, it's just. I didn't realize it was only 3.5 years old.
I think that's what it was, right? 3.5 years.
Yeah, the aging down there. I mean, just because of the heat.
Yeah, the nose on this is. Oh my God.
I think the Angels share after 12 years there'd be nothing left in the barrel. It's so hot down there.
Yeah, it gets super hot. Yeah,
it's
and how does that?
Like we have to. That's why we temperature control once we get and more so with like insulated buildings and things, because once it gets to 6. Our losses start to get stupid ridiculous.
Yeah,
but
right.
Texas also has the humidity, which makes it even worse for them. So our proofs go up. So, but yeah, this is delicious. It's
so how hot does it get in the valley where you're at, David? When you're in your rick houses. I mean, we're talking about Texas. I mean, we're talking.
So on a hot summer like July, it can get 130.
Oh Jesus!
In the rick house.
Yeah,
but the outside temp 115. But our rick house is metal.
Okay.
So our original rick house, it was just an old building that we had. We had bought this farm from one of our good friend of our family. They retired out of farming. We ended up buying their ranch. Plant on it, and it had this big metal building in it. Didn't have any insulation. It was their workshop. And so we're like, I don't know what we're going to do with this thing. I'm like, dude, I'll store barrels in it. It gets super hot. It's going to be perfect. And it was until they get about 6 years old. And then you got to be real careful because it gets so dang hot. So we ended up insulating the roof of the building so we could still get the intense heat through the sides, but a little less intense heat from the top, because the older whiskeys, it'll over oak them like that. After they're 6 years old, they'll get bitter, bitey. That was kind of my first introduction, and like,
it hits that sweet spot, and then it starts to.
It'll go the other way.
Yep, it goes the other way. Absolutely
So
right.
I took a barrel apart, and you can see what's happening is it's so hot, you're surpassing all that char and that caramelized, vanilla notes, all that. You're surpassing it, and you're getting back into the raw wood, which is full of tannins, right? And you don't. And at 6 years, your charcoal, your filter that's inside that barrel, it's all spent. After 6 years, you're not going to filter that bitterness out anymore. So that's where, at least for us, we have to be really careful after that 6 year mark.
No, it makes perfect sense. It's a delicate game. It's a balancing act. Like, when is the right time to pull and produce but that's kind of the fun of it too. It is.
And it's creating airflow, and so it's like, and it's funny because you'll see, like, when like I said, our rick house isn't real huge, but we got 2 of them, but one of them, the airflow is a lot better than the other, and you will taste different notes from those houses. So it's interesting. Yeah,
that is really cool. Yeah, we would love to get out there to Cali.
I think we have to get out to Cali.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Dave, so we can figure out a way to get out there. Let me ask you, have you had other groups come out and like come to your distillery to like sort of taste through what you have out there, or you usually send out and that's how they do the single barrel picks? How's that work?
So we've had, if they're close enough, Adam came out from East Coast, so he was our first one to actually come out and do and visit and do a barrel pick. But no, I just did one yesterday for a group. but we invite whoever wants to come.
So Andy
out.
can come out. We're going to come from the East Coast.
Some people don't. Some people just don't have the time. So
But it's much better when you come to the distillery, right? We're gonna get access. Yeah, we're gonna get access to maybe better barrels.
If I preface it this way,
yes,
we tend to do things on a more personal level where, if we can, and there's a connection with the distillery with the juice, it's really good. We like the people who are producing it.
Yeah.
We don't care where it is. Like, that's where we want to go out and just go through the whole process in person, sit down, take out a camera, a couple glasses, and have a good time. Like, that's so. Yeah, we would love to do that. I mean, we think it'd be fun. We
whenever you're ready, you guys let us know.
We dig it. That'd be awesome.
There you go, guys. What do you guys think about that for our Patreon members? Maybe a Corbin Cash. 21090 single barrel pick.
Love it. And by the way, Mark, they actually Todd just told me to say Jay just emailed us and said they just released I think they had 2 cases.
They
held
always
back.
save 2 cases for people that possibly lose things in shipping, and everything was. I mean, it's been 3 months or 4 months since we did this.
It's been sold out for a while. So so there's 12 now, down to at least
5 or 6, maybe.
A couple have been sold already on the stream tonight, but there's a few bottles left. You want to head over to Sherrod, you can get that. That's what actually we're all sipping on now. David, Todd, and I are sipping on the.
Where's the link to Sherrod Pour? I don't actually have it. Maybe one of our mods can do that for us. There you go. Put it. So, guys, last call for listen, a almost full bottle of the 350 milliliter of the 1917. For me, right now, it's probably my rye of the year. But you get samples of the Lost Lantern still.
Both of these are
the Lost Lantern pick.
So good.
The Merced Rye at 90 proof. The sweet potato liqueur. Holy moly! No, it's not. And the bourbon from Corbin Cash. So you'll get basically every expression. Well, not every. You have other things.
I'm just going to say this.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
While these 2 are ridiculously good,
yes,
worth every penny that if you would do a super chat for the
barrel proof and the Lost Lantern.
And the Merced Rye is great too. The bourbon's really good. You've never had anything like this.
I agree with that. I agree with that. You've never had anything like it. It
changed my world, man.
David, what else do you have besides in terms of spirits? You have the vodka. Is there anything else that you do?
We have a gin, the vodka, and we're working on some like almond flavored stuff off the farm, using almonds to do like an almond liqueur, kind of like an amaretto and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And then even some almond flavored whiskeys, but those are still in the R&D stages. Almonds are a little challenging to work with, like when you're using real almonds like we grow, and instead of the bitter nut like the apricot kernel.
Yeah, there you go. And Jason, it didn't get to my level on your Patreon, so I didn't even get to try it. But yeah, so we're gonna get one out there soon.
Yeah, I think that might be worth going.
Thank you, Richie. There it is. There's the link to.
So when this is not to be funny.
What?
When's the port finish coming out from? Because I mean, we got to tie this in somehow. If my wife's still watching, thank you for watching at 10:19.
She's not.
She probably went to bed already. But sure. If I wore my Cristiano Ronaldo jersey, all of a sudden she'd probably be like, yeah, she'd watch. That'd be fine. But is any chance of doing some finished anything from Corbin Cash?
Yeah, we actually have been toying with some finished whiskeys. We have I'm looking at some wine. So you read my mind with the port because the whole Portuguese thing, right? But we have we're working on our 12-year, which.
Yes, I heard about the 12 years, 6 years in American and 6 years in French.
French oak, yeah. And the French actually adds some nice.
Oh my God, can you imagine how good that is?
Nice notes to it. So we're hoping to release that, mid next year sometime.
How will people buy that? I guess if you're only local, how's that work?
We're gonna probably try to release it to a couple of DC guys, so it can be available to.
There's hope for us all.
Most of it's going to be kept inside because I only have a few barrels of it, so it's not going to be a big. It'll probably go fast, but we'll have mostly out of the distillery. But we would like to open it up and get it out, and we'll probably send you guys a few bottles so you can review it.
Yes, we would totally do that.
Yeah.
In more ways than one, for sure. That's amazing. So Double Oak 12-year Corbin Cash. Oh my God.
Sounds amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been toying. So we actually have a mezcal. We're doing not a mezcal, sorry, a tequila. Well, I guess it won't be called tequila. It'll be an agave spirit since we're not Mexico. But we did bring some agave in from Mexico, and we did some distilling and during COVID, before COVID, and we had a glass issue. Issues getting glass during COVID, obviously, with everything else. And then, so we had this wonderful reposado that I just was so wonderful. And then it turned into an añejo because we couldn't get glass. So now I got this 2.5-year-old añejo, and now I got to make some more reposado because it's like I don't have any more reposado, but we want to kind of release it all at the same time so they can try it. So hopefully we'll get that tequila out next year too.
Sounds good.
It won't be called Corbin Cash, though. We'll come up with something different.
There you go.
You guys are doing great work.
I mean, amazing stuff. Well, I mean, I can't. So let me ask you this. Another question though is distribution. So luckily, Steelbacks they bought some from you. I hope they keep doing it, and other providers do. But what's the future like for Corbin Cash? Are we hoping to expand distribution?
Yeah, this year, 2024, we're talking to distributors on the East Coast. Our goal is to start. It was kind of my fault. I've been just a firm believer of, just build California and own it first, but
sure,
didn't realize how hard that was going to be. And it seems like all the big guys want to be here. Obviously, it's the biggest market. And I'm just like, you know what? We've got tons of fans outside of our state now, and I think it's just time to start doing some releases outside. So
we applaud that, right? Hey, come on, let's applaud that. We all want that. Well, East Coast, yes sir.
Shared Pour actually carries our stuff too, not just Sealbox.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I shouldn't say that. Yes, I like Shared Pour a lot. Well. Jay West is the man.
Jay West has it, and Sealbox. So both supporters. Appreciate it.
Well, I mean, I think that's great. The one nice thing that I found about the whiskey community is they're very collaborative. There's this sense of like kind of camaraderie and like a fraternal nature where everyone's kind of like looking out for the other person. It's not this cutthroat industry. And I think that's leading well towards working with influencers, with blenders, with distillers, like everybody kind of coming together very communal, which I think is great. And so that really helps push a brand where, hey, we're talking about a farm to glass.
That's the other thing.
Out in California,
farm to glass
to the East Coast. Like that stuff is cool. Like that's what people want to see. I love that. And I think it's great that we can keep trying to help push that because there's a market everywhere. And especially after they taste this, they're gonna fall in love with it.
BT's still here. BT, yes, he is a great guy.
Yeah, I think it's it was funny because we had social media lets people say whatever they want sometimes, and we had a gentleman that commented. It's been quite a few years ago, but he was from Oklahoma, and he didn't have good things to say about California and our socialist whiskey. And he never tried it, but I get it.
Your socialist whiskey is fantastic. By the way,
you should name one of your bottles the socialist and just put it out, send it out, guys.
Let's not go politics. Let's not do it.
Say enjoy, and send it out.
No, and it's funny. I'm very patient. I wrote him a nice comment, and I said, look, I can totally appreciate. I have family lives in the Midwest and on the East Coast, and from the outside looking in, I go, but right here in the middle of California, we're just like the Midwest. We're just this farming area. Yes. It's not all city. It's just a bunch of down home people. And, and I love the city. I'm like, I've told you, right. I just love America, but I love,
I love that.
It's like, I love going to San Francisco and hanging out. And I mean, I even had a place there when I was doing sales. And so it's like, I love it, but I love my country life too. The older I get, the more I like the calm.
I hear you.
Especially with kids.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look, it's funny. Hey, I was in New York last week, and driving there.
You
I was
texted
like,
me about 10 times how much you hated it.
I was like, I liked it once I was stationary.
Not anymore.
But driving around there, and it was so crowded. I was like, I kind of like my my space, like a little, like to be able to breathe and stretch a little bit. So,
but yeah, my mom was born in New York, and it's like we go visit, and it's like, yeah, driving sucks. Once you're on the ground, with your feet, and all the conveniences of it, and
it's cool, yeah,
it's super cool. There's some great cocktail bars, and there's all this. But you get in your car and you're like, okay, this is why I hate it.
Yes, you are 100% correct. And then I went over I kid you not, a $17 toll bridge. I was like, what the hell? Where am I? I was like, what?
You're
what
in New York.
I was like, this has got you got to be kidding me. But hey, everywhere is different. That's what makes this country so great. Yeah. But hey, real quick, are you a sports guy at all?
I mean, I follow sports. I've always been more of an entrepreneur and a worker, but I love watching sports.
Who's your team out there? Who you guys pull for?
Football. Say football. Yeah, football.
I'm a Raiders fan.
All right. Well, yeah, they're not. I mean,
well, now you're now he's a Vegas fan.
Vegas.
Now.
I mean, I get it. Yeah. Raiders are Raiders fans. They don't care what city they're in. They've been in LA. They've been in Oakland, LA, Vegas. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter out there.
Well, I didn't typically enjoy when they were in LA, but I did enjoy when they were in Oakland because it was so close I could go.
Right.
But it's like in my lifetime, the older I get, I'm like, I just want them to get good again. I'm like, you were good when I wasn't able to enjoy you.
That's the way we've been with the Orioles. The Orioles
are you a baseball fan at all, or no?
Yeah, I like baseball. My team growing up, my grandpa was from New York, so we watched a lot of the Yankees.
Oh no, well, better than the Boston Red Sox, right?
Yeah. But
I like.
I probably follow the Giants a little more than anything.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I'm going with the Yankees.
Yeah,
Micah just said the Ravens are overrated again.
They might be.
They're not overrated. We just had a hiccup last week. I was there. God dang it! Yeah. We are gonna beat the Bengals on Thursday night. Everybody watch it. We'll be there.
Look,
we're probably gonna lose.
Mike is not completely wrong. We've never been the same since the greatest player.
Joe
in the
Flacco.
Of the Ravens. That's
Flacco,
the elite one.
The elite one.
Yeah,
what about Trent Dilfer?
He's not elite.
No, not like Joe.
In fact, we beat San Francisco in his Super Bowl run, which was pretty amazing.
Freaking Flacco, guys.
Joe Flacco. That's the man right there. The man.
And he has a man crush on Joe Flacco for some reason.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't know why.
I think I do. That's not true. That's actually true.
What's up, Mr. Fulton? Hick up your QB. Oh no. All right. Anyway, all right. Let's give away some stuff, guys. Let's give it away. Somebody's gonna win. We have good odds tonight. Merced Rye, almost a full bottle of the 300, plus samples of the Lost Lantern, the regular Merced Rye, the sweet potato mash, and the bourbon. So let's go. Randy, bring up the wheel, and let's.
I can bring the wheel. While I'm bringing this up, got to ask you, David, one last question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're in a crazy industry. Let's be honest. I mean, that's the beauty of the spirits world.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't doing spirits, what would your dream job be?
Well, that's a great question. Wow.
So,
well, he's a farmer too.
Yeah. Well, I love farming, but if I wasn't in this world and my ag and honestly, I would just want to be I love to travel, so I'd want to be a travel influencer. People pay me to go rate.
How can we do that, Andy?
Their hotels, their flights.
Andy, we're in the wrong business.
Yeah. I kind of do that a little bit now. I like that.
You do that.
Yeah.
If I don't get to a hotel once every couple of weeks, I start to get.
But you don't influence. You don't do videos on that, Andy. You just go.
That's true. I just go. Anyway. That's a good point.
Oh, BT, hey, squeeze me in BT. You're the best.
Squeeze BT. By the way, BT. If you don't know who BT is, BT,
Brian Tracy
of Sagamore. So from all the way out on the East Coast. Yeah.
Are you familiar with Sagamore, David, or no?
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, definitely a fan.
Yeah, good stuff.
Great stuff in our backyard. So
even better guy. Good.
BT is the best.
One of the best in biz.
All right, so let's bring up that beautiful wheel, Andy. Let me bring in BT real quick.
Okay.
So every $5 super chat. So we got some people in.
All right, go ahead.
We're gonna expose some people some Corbin Cash, which I love because Corbin Cash is worth the wait here. So let's shuffle once. Are we good? Anything else? Oh, Micah's in. Hold on, I gotta wait for Micah to come through. Micah, thank you, brother. Micah is a
Good
old
to see you,
friend
Micah, yeah.
from the back of the top 10 days, Andy. During COVID, we were doing top 10 lists, and we're not going to talk about that.
Well, you don't want to talk about sharks? Or
Favorite movie, sharks with movies. David, what is your favorite movie that has sharks in it, not Jaws?
My favorite movie.
Exactly. You can't really name them. We did a whole episode on that.
Really?
Well, that was during COVID. During COVID, we were doing whiskey, and we're like, let's have a topic. So we would do top 10 list of anything, pop culture. And that was one of them. So
Whiskey Wars jumped into.
Oh, thank you. So that was one of the, and that's when we were like, we've jumped the shark, because literally and figuratively, because we're running out of topics.
Yeah.
So there you go. Shark movies. What did we really do a top 10 list of shark movies?
Hey, don't ask.
What else besides with Jaws? What else is there besides Jaws?
Deep Blue Sea.
Okay,
Yeah.
you've named. Where's the top 10 on that?
Let's just let it go. Let it go, Elsa. Let's pull this up.
All right, I am ready. Thank you guys for the super chats. Let's go make some Corbin Cash. This is great. You ready?
You got it up?
I got it up. Let's go.
All right, let's do this for everybody. Let's spin that wheel.
All right, guys. This is for the everything we've drank tonight, and a nice little 350 of 1917 Merced Rye. So let's go. Good luck. Shuffle once, twice, three times.
Wins twice.
Here we
three
go.
times.
See who wins, Andy.
All right, let's see who wins. And the winner is.
Oh, it might be Nancy. It's
Wow.
Nancy. It's
Didn't
Nancy
see that. How about that?
I don't have her address. Well, should be
Congratulations, Nancy.
I guess Nancy. I have to.
Hey, look, that's awesome. If she wins, she wins, right?
She wins.
That's great. So we're gonna get that to Nancy. Which, see, now this is gonna help.
Sneak in her. Yes.
So you know what? This might. Let's push you out to
Yes.
California, and
She's gonna drink all this wonderful.
She's gonna say, "Huh, all right."
I need to be out at Corbin. There, we didn't plan it that way, David, but it just worked out that way.
So
there you
so
go.
that's really cool. David, anything
Well, I
else?
got a question.
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
go ahead.
Cool.
Come on. Yes.
Where'd the
Bring it.
name 1090 come from? Because I
Great
don't
question.
know.
We deliberate about like what the best name could possibly be
Ever.
for a whiskey channel.
Yes.
We thought long and hard,
Mm-hmm.
and then we copped out and we took our zip code. We just spelled out the 10 in the middle. Our zip code for where we are.
Our zip code is 21090.
21090. And we just spelled out the 10. Very few people get it, but
Nope.
it's fun. Yeah. So
It used to be 21090 Brewing, and we were like, let's do brewing. We're a home brewing channel. And then we're like, well, we're doing no brewing anymore.
no,
Yeah.
we
And we just dropped
saw
the brewing.
with Bad Axe Bourbon, like we saw, like you could tell where the inspiration for the logo came. So yeah, so we did
Yeah,
this. So that's the 80s rock kind of like
We
background.
love
But yeah,
80s rock.
but yeah, so we threw that together. 21090 came and it stuck.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Cool. Well, I figured as soon as I saw the letters, I'm like, oh, Def Leppard, man.
Well, we're hoping that Def Leppard like does a cease and desist, and we're like, we're gonna take you to court.
Yeah.
And we'd like to see Joe Elliott and Rick Savage and
We
everybody
just
in
want to
court.
shake your hand in court and say,
Can
"Thank
you
guys
autograph
just
this,
send
please?"
us-
And then we'll drop. And then we'll
sign
like,
your cease and desist letter, and then yeah,
we're hoping that happens. No.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's 21090 is Todd's prison number. What, JG? Come on. What the heck?
that's the zip code that he's allowed to play.
Oh,
in.
Mr. Great Shot, we will certainly send her. Which, yes, that will. We're going to have Nancy Fraley on somewhere in the new year to talk about what she's doing in the new year, everything that she's got going on. So she's a friend of the channel, and we will have her on, and she will have our pick as well as all this amazing Corbin Cash now. So
And
it's
if you
great.
do see the 190 Joseph Magnus edition, like it's named
It
after
is
21090. It's called
phenomenal.
the 21090 Let's Get Rocked edition. So she did actually select us, which
So
was
it was
cool,
funny.
yeah.
Bobby mentioned that to you, David, on his stream. He said, Nancy let me name one of the batches, and sure enough, she did. We had nothing to do with the batch. I mean, she did everything. We just named it. Our name was Let's Get Rocks for
yeah.
Def Leppard.
Yeah.
It's pretty
How
cool.
obvious, Andy?
Hey, we're predictable if nothing else, right?
That's right.
So
All right, there you guys have it. So, David, any last words for our you've been awesome. Thanks so much for
killer
joining
guest,
us.
man. We appreciate
Andy
you
will be
very
out
much.
sometime soon, right, Andy?
Look, I'm totally fine. I would love to go out there. I would
Just let us know. We're ready to have you. And
you guys.
be fantastic.
I appreciate the love, and it's channels like this that help get our name out, and we're much appreciative, more than we can definitely show you guys. But we'd love to do a pick with you guys. So whenever you're ready, you just let us know.
We're
Yeah,
ready
that'd be
now.
great.
We're ready now.
He's the kind of like the travel agency. He'll book my flight and all that stuff.
We
Don't
were
tell
looking
him yet.
tonight for flights. Where could we go? San Francisco or Oakland? Oakland might be the best spot for you.
But no, we definitely. I'd love to get out there soon.
Yes, sure.
Especially like I said, when the people behind the juice are cool people and that's someone you want to work with, it makes it all the more worthwhile. So, we'd love to throw our support behind Corbin Cash. You guys are doing great stuff. The whiskeys are great. The sweet potato is crazy fun. You got to try it. I am taking it home.
You're not taking it home with you.
It's coming with me. Try it in Irish coffee, David. You'll appreciate it.
There you go.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, it's
All right,
really
guys.
good.
So
All
in
right.
2 weeks, we will have Nora and Adam from Lost Lantern on, which has a Corbin Cash. Next week will be all about Bourbon County Stout. They're releasing it. We have some of their products right here. So it'll be Bourbon County Stout week next week.
Yeah, I can't wait. Bourbon.
Yeah.
It's Barrel Aged Beer Month, man. We're excited.
So we're super
David,
excited.
we cannot thank you enough, sir. If you can, don't sign off yet. Stick around for
stick around for
literally
1 second.
1 minute. We'll catch you offline.
Okay.
For the rest of you out there, we appreciate you. Cheers and
rock on.
Rock
We'll see you
on.
guys next Tuesday.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real man of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Really, Really, Really Bad Dancer.
Mr. Really, really, really bad dancer.
Arms swinging, knees bending, head bobbing to no particular rhythm. You're either dancing or you have fleas.
Call me a doctor.
As soon as you hit the dance floor, the taunts begin. Is that all you got, playa? Unfortunately, yes, that's all you got.
Pour it on now.
Who's in the house? Some guy who can't dance. That's who's in the house.
Your style.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, Mr. Happy Feet, because you really put the oogie in boogie.
Mr. Really, really,